It's a brand new era here at this circuit. It's a brand new chance for new drivers. It's a brand new chance for old drivers. It's a chance for what is these drivers to start to make a name for themselves here in what is technically classed as the developmental to what is one of the biggest privately run leagues in all of sim racing today. The BSR Pro Series has got a £10,000 winning prize for those who win and seek their glory, but it is a long and arduous road which will have to come through this series alone. We are at the proverbial home of Apex Racing UK and Apex Racing TV. We are at the proverbial home of what is this, the British Sim Racers Kia World Series. We are live on iRacing Live, and we are here from sunny Silverstone for qualifying. 10 minutes of it underway at the moment. Lap times about to come through here on your screen as there are old teams as new. Let's focus on one of these new drivers straight away. The number 24 for Create Scotland. This is Stuart McFadden, the youngster, here as he goes through, sets a 57.5 fastest lap at the moment as he heads himself now into Copse Corner, turn number 1. A difficult one here. Get yourself down to third gear, 150 kilometers an hour, back onto the accelerator. You can see over the left-hand side, Dan Hunt now the fastest man on circuit on the triple line with a 57.4. Into the left of Maggots, right to Beckett's, down on the brakes, under 100 kilometers an hour, 93. As now you head yourself down this Wellington straight, use all of the left-hand side, and actually he's going to pull out of the lap. Let's get ourselves then to look at, say, Stephen Baxter just ahead of him in the number 21. As you can see here, he's going to move himself to this right-hand side. Get yourself tight on the brakes, into the left-hander, and no, he's going to go straight on. Switch driver once again then through what is this Luffield corner. Caleb Patry, a returning driver then in the 770 into this Luffield corner we just went through. Now you got to get yourself on the power. Woodcut is this final small kink right, which I was trying to think of, and across the line will come Caleb Patry. Let's see what he can do. It's a 57.9. It's only good enough for the 5th row at the moment, which is really surprising here. A larger grid than we normally seem to find here in this series. Normally we are more akin to the likes of 20, 25 drivers, but now 37 different names here at Silverstone for the start of a brand new season. All new teams, all new drivers as well. We've got new teams such as Youth Energy Sim Racing UK, we've got the Iceland team, we've got the Bulgaria team, we've got Euro returning, we've got England returning. We have quite a few names that are here, including the likes of Thistle Do, Duncan Watt then. Let's focus on this driver here, the number 31, currently 26th at the moment in qualifying, down on the 13th row. Let's see what he can do. 58.5 at the moment. Only his quickest lap time right now, and you can see just how tight qualifying certainly is right now. Diego Melro now emphatically the fastest man on circuit, a 57 flat from the number 36 driver, second in the championship last season. Now a Thistle Do driver in his own right. You can see just how congested the track gets here as you look to try and get quicker and quicker and quicker. Looking to help out Rusty Walsh then, the number 34. Melro drops himself onto pit road then. You can't reset the car. You have to come in, get new tyres, and go back out again. And it's a very interesting one for Rusty Walsh. He goes second now on a 57.273. Daniel Hunt third. Russell Laidler in fourth, with Stephen Minton up in fifth with a fantastic qualifying at the moment. And you can see right now these cars are finding themselves through. Well, a car that we do need to talk about here is Sven Glatzel right now here in this 1-2-4 machine. He may be running Italia 90 Deutschland colours, but that team is not operational to score points at the moment. Of course, a team needs 3 drivers in order to get that sorted, and this is going to be a very interesting championship to say the least. Times are constantly changing, and the big shock at the moment is that number 1 in Bulgaria colours is Julian Janowski, and he's only done a 57.8 so far. He is struggling, the current champion right now, only down on row 7 with his long-term rival Alex Everett of the Celtic Dragons team. Now gets bumped down even further. This is really interesting now as we are halfway through this session. Let's listen into Julian Janowski and see where his problems are akin. 57.7 this time, but he doesn't gain any position from that. He remains 15th right now, so Julian Janowski is struggling and might need a new change of tyres potentially to find that extra bit of lap time. His practice lap time suggests that he could go as high as second right now. As we look then down at this Wellington straight, Adam Hadfield currently 5th at the moment for the Celtic Dragons. Of course, he's probably the only man who is not part of a Celtic outlet, which is going to be, say, Cornwall or Wales or Scotland or Ireland or what you call it. The man from Sheffield will really be looking to try and go even quicker right now. He is 5th currently on a 57.4, chasing Gordon Anderson, the privateer, in that 041 machine. And you can see Hadfield's going to drop himself onto pit lane here at this national layout here of Silverstone. This is going to be an interesting one, to say the least. Robert Plumley then in the number 2 machine. Can he get himself to the line with a good time? Answer is it's a 57.9. It does make him go quicker. He goes 18th at the moment. That's good enough for row number 9 right now. And you can see the struggle that will start to go for a couple of drivers. The time ticking away. We're looking at 3¼ minutes left in your session, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, there has been ourselves a bit of an incident down the front straightaway. Let's get a replay then, because I believe that has caught Rusty Walsh unawares. There was a car on its roof as well here down this Wellington straight, and oh dear me, Rusty Walsh in that Thistledew car just gets himself all wrong, gets a big slide down the front straight. And who does he collect? Well, the answer to that one is he collects Law Murray in all of that. So that one is certainly an interesting one, to say the least, and there will be some questions asked about that release then, about that reset to the pits. If they couldn't have dragged it back, it wouldn't have been good enough. But time ticking away, 2½ minutes. Now we are starting to get to crunch time, ladies and gentlemen. This one could be all about who can hold their nerve. Lewis Bibby then in a number 18, most improved driver of last season, runs a little bit wide there through that part of Brooklands. It's Luffield. Very, very nice, running that inside line. There he comes, he gets on the power, and now trying to use the slipstream of Russell Laidler, Rusty Russell Laidler, just ahead of him. And you'll see this run to the line. Bibby in the England car does a 57.4 and jumps onto the 3rd row. Good enough for Bibby right now, but time is of the essence, and it is ticking away. And finding some space on this circuit is so difficult, of course, with only a 57-second lap, I should say, and everyone trying to find themselves into the right position. It's going to be really, really tough for these guys to just get that magic number sorted right now. Julian Janowski needs to find something. It's 16th at the moment in the number 1. Needs to find more. 57.694 is his time. He's only 5/10 off of pole position. Let's see what he does now. It's not quick enough, and he's starting to run out of tyre tread to make sure that he can get his lap quicker. This is a little bit paramount now. Adam Dodd in a good position. Gordon Anderson in the barriers. That one very, very much. Everyone trying everything they possibly can right now, but all eyes will have to turn around this session right now, because everyone is putting in everything they possibly can at this moment in time. Adam Dodd then in 13th position was the second quickest man in practice. And you know what? I think he's just waiting time, trying to make sure he's got the best opportunity he possibly can. And for the moment, he's going to park his car there. But you can see right now, everyone pushing themselves. Gareth Hickling then down the field as well at the moment. His time not quite good enough right now. Craig McLeod Evans only 24th here at the moment. Everyone looking for that big one. Half a minute to go then in this qualifying session. It's going to be all about who's last across the line, who has the biggest opportunity to set that magic lap. McFadden will get across with 20 seconds to go. Hunt will. Swaby can't do enough. He'll go down onto pit road. Vervaker will get across. McNally's done. Bibby is not done though. He'll have one more lap. So will Patry. So will Dave Christie at the moment. So will Sven Glatzel at this rate. And Laidler and Murray and Delmont and Minton. It's going to be tight for Minton. I think he'll make it. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. No, he won't. And no, he won't make it. So Minton's time across the line, a 57.6, goes quicker. Only 10th though, which is not good enough for the time being. And you can see these times, they're going to come in with 6s and 7s. And there are changes. Hadfield now up into 4th position. Hickling to cross the line for the Bulgaria team. Does only a 58.2. Is it a 58.2? No, got that one a little bit wrong. 58.2, not good enough then. And you can see the times coming through. Dodd looking for that magic lap then. 57.6 at the moment, needs to find a little bit more. He's got Greenfield for slipstream to the line. And does he do any more? Answer is 57.7. No, he doesn't. You can see all these times, everyone dropping in because they're not quick enough. Vervaker, though, will try and go quicker. 8th at the moment. Can he do more? Answer No, he cannot do any more. So you can see all these drivers trying to make their way to the final part of the lap. Dave Christie's lap is done. What about Nathan Osborne? What about Kip Stevens? What about these drivers then waiting? I think we are all but done here in qualifying, though. This is how your field looks right now in this grid for the first race of the brand new season. Diego Melro then blitzes qualifying with a 57.098. Fastest man in the field by over a tenth and a half. Then he is there ahead of Rusty Walsh on the front row on his debut. Dan Hunt will qualify on the second row alongside Adam Hadfield of the Celtic Dragons. Russell Laidler then is in 5th position for the Bulgaria team, with Lewis Bibby's England car 6th. There you can see Pete Newman 7th with Roy Viveka 8th. Khaled Patry, the independent driver, in 9th with Peter Van Gool 10th. Stephen Minton in 11th with Stuart McFadden 12th, with Kip Stevens 13th and Adam Dodd 14th. There you can see Stephen Hall and Julian Janoski. Janoski all the way down in 16th with Osborne 17th and Glatzel 18th. Alex Everett 19th with Craig McLeod Evans in 20th. Then you got Stephen Baxter returning in 21st with Thorsten Matton in 22nd. Plumley and Delmont, McNally and Maddock. There you can see Curry and Murray there with Greenfield and Anderson. Helgeson there with Wright, Hickling, Watt, Swaby, Christie, Walker and Martinson, rounding out the 38 car grid here this evening. But you have to say, this opening race, it is a front row lockout for the Thistle-Do cars right now. I wrongly said that Diego Melro was independent, but he's not. But now you can see here, 2 minutes to grid up, or you start from pit lane, and everyone just waiting to play those mind games. You can see just how far they grid back here in this 38 car grid, all the way back to pretty much pit entrance then. So it really does show you that 15 minutes, it's worth racing for. Of course, the big surprise as well for this one is the Cesare Rizzo Cup. You'll see a couple of drivers then on your broadcast graphics that have an orange stripe on their name next to them. That's going to signify the fact that they qualify for the Cesare Rizzo Cup, and the winner of that gets a spot in the Pro Series for the final 7 weeks of that. But engine notes will be looking to rise in just a couple of moments' time. We are just waiting for a couple more drivers to put themselves on the grid here, just waiting, and you can see impatience starting to kick in, and engine notes now starting to rise up higher. This is a brand new season, and we are green and we are go. We're underway at Silverstone for what is a fantastic race, and a great start from Laidler from the third row. Already gets himself up into 2nd or 3rd position, but gets boxed in then by, I believe, Diego Melro, is it? No, it's Rusty Walsh then, but there is contact at the start though, and it's contact with Adam Hadfield then, but they keep themselves together somehow, but it's going to cause that bottleneck to happen in through Maggots and towards Beckett's. Not ideal, but at the front though, Diego Melro has got away with it, gets a massive slide midway through the corner, going to compromise the run then, and his teammate Rusty Walsh is going to get a fantastic run. Laidler then sitting in 3rd, Hunt in 4th. There you got Patry up in 5th, Newman 6th, the king of starts is at it once again. Minton 7th, Stevens 8th, McFadden 9th, and Van Gool rounds out this top 10 as they head for the very first time down onto the brakes into this next corner here, this Brooklands left-hander. And you can see here just how the England and the Euro cars are all bunching themselves up together. Very similar livery, so it's very difficult to distinguish one from the other. But for the moment, all is calm up at the front. It's a leading 4, but Laidler's got through on Rusty Walsh right now. Melro leads your opening lap. We have a car in pit lane as well. That's Thorstein Helgeson on his debut. That one not ideal for him, the Icelandic man of the Icelandic team. So that hasn't worked out in his favour. Nathan Osborne of the Celtic Dragons also there on pit road. His day is all but done right now as we look up through this mid-pack of your field, and there is a big scrap going on. Stephen Minton in the Bermuda team now trying to fight with the Iceland team of Kip Stevens has jumped ship, you could say, from Bermuda over to Iceland. Not often you get to say that, but Stevens now looking at his former teammate down the inside, gets himself there tight on the brakes, but he doesn't have enough of a moment to just get that car down the inside. And you look ever so slightly further behind, you can see Peter Van Gool fighting hard with Lewis Bibby. Bibby down the inside then in that England team, and they're going to continue to go side by side, door to door, as they head down this front straightaway for the second time. It is a big change though in this Kia World Series. Formerly 20 minutes that we used to run, now we're down to 15 here, and you can see those fast repairs coming into work. That one fast repair, Dan Hunt, big slide through turn number 1, Cops Corner, keeps the car going though, behind Rusty Walsh and Rusty Laidler there as they head themselves to try and chase down Diogo Maro, who now has a 6/10 of a second margin at the moment to lead this race by at the moment. But all eyes will turn to Julian Janowski, though, to see exactly where he is out on circuit right now. At the moment, he is struggling a little bit. He's down the order. He's 18th. He's dropped 2 positions off of the start, so really hasn't been the start he wanted to. Side by side, they're going to go into Brooklands corner. That is Adam Hadfield and Lewis Bibby going at it. Hammer and Tongs. Stephen Hall's found his way through as well as they go side by side in through Luffield corner, and it's going to be still side by side as they get themselves out of the exit. But for the moment, it is going to be all stays calm. Side by side still, though, as they run to Cops corner, these two, then Lewis Bibby and Adam Hadfield. And you can see Hadfield runs incredibly wide, comes across and almost takes the side out of what is Lewis Bibby in side by side to turn number 1. Little bit of a slide there coming in from the driver of Lewis Bibby, pushes his man out, still side by side though. This is brilliant, and it's going to allow Sven Glatzel and Craig McLeod-Evans, the Imperial Iron Wall, to come back into it, down on the brakes, and still they're going to go side by side. A little bit of contact between the two. Now we're going to run it 3 wide. This is a fantastic battle in the middle of your pack right now. We're going to stay focused on, and still, you've got to make sure you pick your lane and stay to it, a bit like Talladega. We're going to go 3 wide as they're going to go down onto the brakes. Hadfield then trying to hold it down the inside, and he's still there, and he just can't hold it now for the end of wherewithal, because the position goes eventually to Lewis Bibby in a fantastic battle between the lot of them. Dan Hunt, though, has lost positions. He has dropped a couple to Khaled Patry and Pete Newman in this scrap right now. He is now down into 6th position right now. A very experienced Pro Series driver in his own right, but still it remains the same as it did at the front. It's Melrose from Laidler, from Walsh, Patry waiting in 4th, the part-timer, and there is the king of starts, Pete Newman, just sitting pretty in 5th position, waiting for opportunity to arise right now. Stuart McFadden and Roy Viveka. Of course, Stuart McFadden, a champion in Scottish grassroots driving at the moment, and looking to make himself a big name towards the future of this one. Moves over to the entirety of the right-hand side of the circuit, moves down into this left-hand side, going up over the curves and onto the green Astro into this right hand, and there is a bit of contact from Roy Viveka, a bit of lovers bump right there, and through will go the driver of Roy Viveka, and that might rile up the young Scotsman in that Create Scotland team. It might find a bit of spark, a bit of fire. McFadden would like to get back past Roy Viveka at the earliest given opportunity, and I think he'll be looking to try and get past as quickly as he can. Stevens and Minton, that one still going on. Gap at the front is 7/10 of a second to Russell Laidler. Melrose controlling the race in a Janowski-esque fashion that we have been used to seeing all throughout this series. And well, it just seems that we have a different Julian Janowski here, because he's down. We have contact though. That's Lewis Bibby who's going through the grass with Craig McLeod-Evans. Let's get a replay up on screen then and see exactly what's happened there. And Craig McLeod-Evans a bit later on the brakes takes 2 stabs on the brakes and actually takes the back out of the England car. And well, there's no love lost between those two, but they're going to continue. McLeod-Evans going to break out of that one and lose the position to Robert Plumley as well, then down on the brakes. That one, an unfortunate one that he has to do as we go back live. But now you look, Dan Hunt all over the back of Pete Newman then in the battle for what is 5th position on circuit then between the 2 Englishmen. And it's the 2 privateers as well, the 111 versus the 999, and it's the 999 that gets through on the 111. And well, you have to say Pete Newman's going to come back at this one. He's not done yet with Dan Hunt, but he's going to back out of it. Not going to be brave enough to go round the outside to the inside at Maggots and Beckett's, and he's going to wait behind. As you can see, Stephen Minton waiting in the wings for a big opportunity right now. But you can see lap traffic starting to play that key benefactor. Of course, there are 2 reverse grids for races 2 and 3. They're determined by the wheel, and they go from anywhere from 10 to 28, and there are 3 full reverse grid slots as well here on this wheel also, which will be determined after the race. But right now, Rusty Walsh behind Russell Laidler, waiting for that big opportunity to get himself through. That one is going to be the big fight at the moment, but it just seems that Rusty Walsh is just waiting on his fellow Rusty to try and get past. Doesn't want to force the move until it is paramount to do so, and at the moment it seems just enough to sit back in the tow, wait for the opportunity to come to you, and not for you to come to the opportunity. Well, you can certainly see this field is still cycling around. We've still got 32 cars on the leading lap right now. Jason Greenfield fighting down in your lower half. This is for the 24th position with Gareth Hickling in the number 4. In through the left, and now onto the brakes. Then it's Bermuda against Bulgaria as they head themselves through Beckett's corner and onto the Wellington straight once again. Not close enough for the time being, but that one could develop in later laps to come. And well, there have been some really good debuts from quite a few drivers here. Rusty Walsh is the prime example right now, as he has been flying and actually has got through on Russell Laidler as the time we have been away. But now that's going to allow Khaled Patry, a very experienced driver, to try and put himself into the position. Of course, Patry, a race winner back all the way at season 1 Lime Rock. It's been that long since we've seen him actually running wide there as Stephen Minton. That's going to allow Kip Stevens then in the 5 Iceland car to get himself through. And well, there's a reason why mums go to Iceland. It's for overtakes like these. He's got the inside line down into this right-hander here of Beckett, and he makes sure that he connects that one through. And being opportunistic as well is Roy Vervaeke side by side. They're going to go then down the Wellington straight, and it's going to be all about who is Kip Stevens going to favour. The answer is, at the moment, Slipstream is favouring the guy of Stephen Minton. Minton down on the brakes, Minton to the inside, half distance already completed, and now you can see people starting to get a little bit more desperate here, and there is a car in the middle of the road, and that one looks to be Celtic Dragon-esque. It looks to be the car of Nathan Osborne, who's a lap down, letting lap traffic through. There, very brave decision, very wise decision in that fact as well, but there is still fighting going on, and now Stuart McFadden wants a piece of the action here as they're gonna go to Copse Corner side by side. Can McFadden get it down the inside? He keeps the nose there, and he keeps the position there, and running a little bit wide there is the car of Stephen Minton, who had to leave the room, and McFadden gets the position pretty much next to sorted then as they head themselves through Maggots, down on the brakes into Beckett. Minton can't do anything about it. Stuart McFadden then up into 9th position for the time being. Well, this is certainly turning into an interesting race for this one. Up at the front, though, it is a leading train of 4 right now, with Diogo Mauro now trying to negotiate Connery Maddock as the next car in the train of let's try and lap the car a second time here, as he's had an incident earlier on. Alex Everett, who, of course, has also had an incident, so has Adam Dodd. Nathan Osborne has been involved, so is Thorstein Helgesen. Joel Martinson is out of the race as well as we start lap 11 even, of your motor race right now, as the 5-minute warning will come very quickly into view. Melrose versus Walsh. That one's going to be a big one then to look out for as they look to start breaking away then from the pack. Laidler's got nothing at the moment to really say he's close, nor can really Khaled Patry say he's close. This will do, putting a massive charge for the Constructors' title already with this result right now with a 1-2. And it certainly seems right now that there is going to be a small calm here before the proverbial storm, as we're going to focus on Julian Janowski then in that number 1, looking to get past the 041 of Gordon Anderson. Then to the right hand side of the circuit they go, left as you see it on screen, into the left hander then they come along of Brooklands corner. Luffield coming up next then, and he just can't seem to be close enough, stuck in the middle of what is a sticky situation right now. Can't do anything about it, but we're going to focus up to your leaders right now with just a few laps to go in this one, and still Walsh playing rear gunner to what is Russell Laidler in the number 3 Bermuda car as they head themselves now in towards Maggots. Not close enough. Beckett still waiting, and actually there could be a little bit of contact, and there's a bump to say, you know what, I'm here, and it forces the side-by-side, and you're going to see Diogo Mauro stay on that left-hand side, use that slipstream as that big benefactor. Laidler's got to make a bigger bump than that if he wants to get through, if he wants to push the pass in that way, but he's going to try and do it around the outside then, down at Brooklands corner. Don't think he can get that position sorted just yet. Actually, there's going to be contact in a Soper Cleland sort of way back, and there's going to be a second bit of contact, and they're going to continue to go, and Patry's going to go to the inside, and Patry's going to take 1, and Patry's going to take 2. As you can see right now, Diogo Mauro gets the breakaway that he so richly deserves. He now has himself a 1.3 second advantage as you look at this one side by side still, and Russell Laidler pushed a little bit too hard when he knew he needed a little bit more than he had already. Still fighting side by side, they're going to go in towards this Maggots and Beckett's complex. They're going to get down on the brakes tight and looking for the inside they go, and it's going to be contact with Khaled Patry, and through's going to go Russell Laidler 2 and 3, and this is only allowing the cars of what is Daniel Hunt to come back into it. Connery Maddox still there as well, proving that he had pace to begin with. But now you can see side by side once again. This battle continues to develop then. As you can see, Dan Hunt now on the back of this group in 5th position here as time is ticking away. But you can see still side by side, Rusty Walsh is pushing himself to the absolute limit, trying to force Caleb Patry out of the way then. That American trying to make his move, the only American here in this series, as they remain side by side as they turn for Copse Corner once again. Down on the brakes, and he goes the furthest in, but will he get the furthest out? The cutback is coming, and you know what? It's going to be a move to the outside, and everyone follows. He tries to Schumacher Duke to the inside, but he's run out of room to do so. Hunt looking for the opportunity, not going to happen here. Down on the brakes, but time ticking away here. More and more and more. Stuart McFadden now on the back of Roy Vervaker here in this big scrap for what is 8th and 9th on circuit. You can see Kip Stevens as well. He is right there with Pete Newman side by side though. Dan Hunt down the inside then of the car of Caleb Patry, and he made that look very, very comfortable on the American. Nothing he could do about that. But there is one breakaway driver at the moment, and his name is Diogo Melro, as it will be 2 laps to go when they cross the line here at Silverstone, the national layout right now, and it's going to be all or nothing for the podium as things stand. You look at McFadden though, has to try the outside line, not going to happen at Copse Corner. It's very difficult. Maybe the cutback might be the best opportunity. Stephen Hall has had himself a bit of drama. He's down in 16th position. Side by side though, Newman and Stevens, and we all know about their rivalry. They've been called back all the way back 2 seasons ago, so it's been about 6 months since their last big altercation, and that one can certainly come down to being a very interesting situation if the end result meets its means right now. But we can see these scraps going up and down. You'll feel this is fantastic. Dave Christie getting the out of the way as traffic. Thorstein Helgeson needs to get out of the way in terms of traffic of Diogo Melro. The white flag will come out. The final lap is here at last, and it's all or nothing. You got Laidler in 2nd, we got Walsh in 3rd, Hunt 4th, and Patry in 5th. It might have to be a dive bomb, it might have to be a do or die move, but now you can see Copse Corner then in your battle for your podium. Still not quite close enough just yet. Hunt all over the bumper of the Thistledew of Rusty Walsh right now as they head themselves into the left-hander of Maggots, into the right of Beckett, and still not quite close enough is seemingly the factor that's going to be at the moment, and dealing with traffic. And now we're going to go side by side here in this battle for what is going to be the final spot on the podium, and they're going to remain it as they head to Brooklands. It's going to be tight, and down on the brakes, Hunt goes for a dive down the middle to thread the needle, but he goes a little bit too deep. It's not going to work. Diogo Melro though is going to round the final corner, and Diogo Melro is going to be a race winner. There has been contact further behind. That one has ended up in calamity, but it's Melro who wins it. Laidler will get 2nd. The scrap to the line for 3rd. We're going to have a drag race between Patry and also Dan Hunt, who's taken 4th in the end. Answer is 0.02 of a second. Caleb Patry steals one. And oh my word, we've had a very good opening race of the night, and we had ourselves a little thing here, a little thing there, and I believe Dave Christie was spinning himself down early on, and oh my word, let's get a replay of that one. Dave Christie comes across the track, and oh, he takes Pete Newman out of the equation on the final lap. Nothing he could do about that one to stop it, but we have had our opening race, and here is our opening results. So in the end, it's Diogo Melro who wins this one by 1.8 seconds in the end over Russell Laidler, making sure that he holds on towards the end of the race. There is Rusty Walsh then for the Thistledew team. He is 3rd with Daniel Hunt 4th there. Kip Stevens coming home across the line in 5th in the end, with Kip Stevens there actually in 5th. Roy Vervaker 6th, Stu McFadden in 7th, which means that we have had ourselves a couple of incidents here and there. There you can see Pete Newman in 8th, Adam Hadfield 9th, Julian Janowski rounding out the top 10 with Gordon Anderson 11th, Sven Glatzel actually in 12th, 13th for Max Wright there, 14th Craig McLeod, Plumley and Murray with Hall and Watt, Van Gool and Minton there with Hickling and Greenfield, Delmont, Walker, Swaby, McNally, Baxter, Caleb Patry down quite a bit of time there. In the end, is classified as 28th. And there is Thorsten Matten in 29th, and cars lap down Christie, Everett, Dodd, Bibby there, Maddock, Curry Osborne, the last of the cars, 2 laps down. Helgeson and Joel Martinson as well. So we are going to try and get for you a driver interview, and we are going to try and drag in your race winner here in this one. We're going to try and drag in Diogo Mauro into the commentary box with us, and what was a fantastic race win by his standards. Diogo, a fantastic race win. It's just how you want to start your season. After 2 times you were second place in the championship, it's a winning start that you so richly wanted.
Yeah. I won't be fighting much for this season. Joining the Twisted Loop to help them, but yeah, it's good to start and win.
Good start, but it all happened very early on. You got yourself pole, you got yourself out and ahead, and you were just controlling the race. And as soon as the cars behind you started to battle, it was just put the hammer down, and you were gone off and away.
Yeah, I had some trouble with lap traffic. I ended up making contact with Nathan Osborne, I think. And after that, I lost so much straight line speed. I had damage, and I was happy enough to see some contact behind me, and I managed to get away again.
Yes, of course, we now have to turn over to the wheel. This is going to decide whereabouts you are going to start in the second race of the evening. Samuli, behind the camera, spin that wheel, and we're going to see exactly where you're going to start. It's a full reverse grid, which means drivers 1 lap down will get themselves onto the pole. Adam Dodd will start on pole position, which means you have to start all the way back in 32nd there. Diogo, not the best result that you want after what was a fantastic win.
Yeah, not a bad thing for me, but it's the same for the others, so let's hope for the best again.
Let's hope for the best, but for the time being, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, round 2 of the championship, of this 36-round championship, will be here from Silverstone National. Don't go away.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it out of 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your BSR MSA Kia World Series, streaming live on iRacing Live and brought to you by Apex Racing TV. Jake Sparey here, alone in the commentary box, as I forgot to mention who I was in the opening race, but this is certainly a fantastic round of the championship that we can see right now. And well, there's a reason why I use the phrase MSA. We're officially recognised by the British Motorsports Association, use all their rules, etc, etc. Make sure that everyone has that good and fun time. And well, there's a reason why you need to be a part of this series if you are not already. It's because you can see these 38 drivers, they all want to be a part of the BSR Kia Pro Series. A big chance for big money. It's their series coming to a close. £10,000 goes to the winner, one of the biggest prizes in all of privately hosted leagues in the world today, and you can only get there through the BSR Kia World Series Facebook. Join us today. It is £3 per race, or it is a stonking £15 per team and £20 for an independent driver. Now, of course, if you are going to get promotional codes, you need to see the codes that are there up on screen. You can get 3 months for the price of one with the promotional code PR-BSRTC, and you can also get €30 off of any JCL sim racing products to be faster with the promotional code 5VATA1KA. Well, our opening race has certainly gone and been a massive eye-opener into what this season is going to be. Janowski not having everything his own way here, finished only in the top 10 by virtue of things happening. And actually a driver that you need to look at is Caleb Patry right now. Now, we saw him go side by side over the line with Dan Hunt and beat him by 0.02 of a second, but what does have to be addressed is the slow down penalty he got for cutting the course there just before the finish line, and that is what has brought him all the way back down through the field to finish 28th overall, which really does show you that it's going to be a very interesting second race of the evening. As you look at the Cesare Rizzo Cup standings, it is Rusty Walsh who leads that one by 8 points over Stuart McFadden at the moment. Adam Hadfield in third. That one's going to be very interesting to move on forward. And two drivers who managed to get no incidents throughout the entirety of the race, and fair credit to them, Lyndon Swaby and Robert Plumley with a clean race bonus, which is very, very impressive indeed. But this is a big one. We are now moving into daytime conditions. The track temperatures are going to be a little bit hotter. Weather temperature 23 degrees, track at 29, winds coming in 19 kilometers an hour from the west as they normally do. It's going to be a very interesting one moving into this second race. You've got to be absolutely paramount to get onto this as quickly and as effectively as you can. And with this reverse grid, you're going to see those slower drivers move further back, those quicker drivers push to the front. It's going to be a big cluster as they head to turn number one. This opening lap looks like it's going to be a little bit more difficult here for this second race of the afternoon, and this really does show the mettle of which drivers are in it to win it and which ones are in it to bin it. Well, we have ourselves just about a minute and a bit before grid up happens. Of course, 15 minutes per race now instead of the usual 20. That one is a big one moving forward, and actually we saw a couple of drivers struggle on those opening laps, the likes of, say, Adam Dodd, who will now get the pole for Thistle Do still. And well, Thistle Do at the moment has the constructors in their back pocket right now. Started off at what was positions 1 and 2 on the grid, so showing some very good early form pace. And of course, you have to be incredibly vigilant when you move on forward in this series, because of course 3 rounds per 12 rounds, 12 weeks of the championship, so it's a 36 round championship in overall, and it's certainly going to be very, very interesting to move on forward. Of course, the next round of the championship will also play a lot of factors into this as well. You've got to make sure that you get yourself in that right position to be fighting on forward with that. It's going to be a crack at the next rounds, but this rounds 2 and 3 is to be incredibly difficult for quite a few drivers to get themselves through. The next rounds will be done at Zandvoort in just 1 week's time, so that one is going to be one that you need to watch out for. This practice session is all but over. The grid coming up next. Well, fastest grid we can possibly do. Adam Dodd on pole then with Alex Everett second. Christie third, Matten fourth. Patry and Baxter with McNally and Swaby. Walker there with Delmont. Greenfield, Hickling, Minton, Van Gool, Watt and Hall, Murray and Plumley with McLaren Evans and Max Wright rounding out the top 20. Then you got Glatzel and Anderson, Janoski, Hadfield, Newman, McFadden, Viveka, Stevens, Hunt, Walsh, Laidler, Melrose, Lewis Bibby, Connery Maddock, Nick Curry. There's Nathan Osborne, Thorstein Helgeson and John Marstonson for a grid of 38 cars done in 30 seconds. They can see just 1 minute for this second grid to get everyone sorted out, hence the speed, hence how everyone's trying to get themselves the best opportunity they can. But all eyes will turn to Welsh Dynamite in second on the grid. Alex Everett of the number 9 looking for a big opportunity. There is Dave Christie, of course, the Knock Hill commentator, there with likes of Caleb Patry looking to try and prove a marker here after what was the steward's decision in the first race. Engine notes, though, are revving. And now we're going to get ourselves underway for the second round of the championship and the second one of the night. And it's a very good start from Adam Dodd, but it's an even better start, you could say, from Alex Everett and Caleb Patry, as they're all going to dive into turn number 1, all going to be very hefty on the brakes. And you can see they're going to go Tokyo Drift City here. It's going to be, I believe, a lot of problems in that midfield, and cars going to go left, right and centre. Already you can see the spinning happening, and we've got to try and piece that one together. Hadfield involved in it. Hadfield trying to get out of it. Delmont was there. You can see the likes of Hickling. Walker was involved. Plumley, Stevens there. Swaby trying to avoid everything. And already we've seen the big one. Robert Plumley there. Stuart McFadden involved. Hickling, Glatzel, likes of Duncan Watt and Nathan Osborne at turn 2. Adam Dodd's gone straight on as well, which means that we've seen so many incidents happen in its opening lap. It is absolutely crazy, and it threatened to happen. It really did. But Welsh Dynamite out ahead with Caleb Patry in second position. Dave Christie somehow still in third, with Adam McNally there in fourth position for that Youth Energy Sim Racing UK team. There with Baxter in fifth, Matten in sixth, Van Gool seventh, and McLaren Evans from 19th is all the way up to 8th position right now. Janoski, though, up into 9th as well, trying to deal with his own challenges. Max Wright is that said challenge right now, as you can see. Going to go 3 wide down the front straightaway, almost 2 wide it's going to turn into. You can see Peter Van Gool going to try in, the Dutch driver, down to the inside. He's going to take it. Christie makes a bit of contact ahead, though, with Baxter, as he loses 2 positions right now down his front straightaway. This is going to be all about attrition, and we've seen a big attrition factor in the middle of the pack. Nowhere to go. Here comes the Imperial Iron Wall to the outside then. He looks on the German man of Thorsten Matten, and he can't quite get the move sorted. Of course, that Deutschland team cannot score in the constructors for not having 3 members. Christie now looking to scrap it out with Peter Van Gool, and starting to go backwards here as his pace isn't as good. McLaren Evans is through, and now he can deploy that Imperial Iron Wall, one of the hardest defenders in the league, bar none right now. As you can see, quite a few drivers getting themselves up through the field. Likes of Dan Hunt has avoided. Pete Newman, the king of starts, has avoided landmines. We got ourselves quite a few cars down on pit road. We've got 6 or 7, 8 cars who are all going to be scored a lap down. And it really does show you here that there is quite a bit of controversy when it comes in. Side by side, Janoski goes with the car of Thorsten Matten around the outside, and it's as if Janoski's found a little bit of second wind right now from 23rd on the grid. He's managed to get himself up to 9th in the opening 3 laps here of this affair, and it's going to continue to go side by side as they look to drive themselves down into this left-hander of Brooklands Corner. Makes the position look good, and there you can see behind Russell Laidler trying to be opportunistic. 2 Bulgaria cars trying to go through side by side. They're going to go, though, through Luffield, and at the moment Matten is certainly not going to give this one up, bar none, to Rusty Laidler, and it's still going to be a waiting game as they continue to move on forward in this race. But at the front we need to look, because it's Caleb Patry who is in second right now. Leading your motor race here is going to be Alex Everett, Welsh Dynamite for the Celtic Dragons. Down on the brakes into turn number 3 on circuit, Beckett's Corner, as they all start to get themselves a little bit mixed muddled up here. Lap traffic to deal with as well, and we have had contact. Peter Van Gool's gone straight on at Beckett. Their contact with, I believe, Dave Christie. Let's get ourselves a replay of that one. Down in onto the brakes, and oh, it was 2 into 1. He tried to hold the gap, but it didn't quite work. He's now down behind Gordon Anderson there in the 041 as he tries to push himself into this next corner. You can see Cars trying to find their way through. The likes of Diogo Melro now up into at least 17th position, if not higher. As you can see this cluster starting to form of lap traffic cars. Janowski, they're having a scrap with Craig McLeod-Evans, and that one certainly comes into play. Almost, you could say, Janowski's kryptonite being a huge problem then as they head themselves down. Khaled Patry takes the lead of the race then away from Alex Everett Welsh Dynamite as we look at Janowski struggling with McLeod-Evans in through turn number 1. That one continues to go on, but Welsh Dynamite will need to stay behind Khaled Patry and stay close to the man here in this battle for the race lead. It's only those two who can really challenge, despite all the cars behind. Likes of Glatzel is lap traffic, Hadfield lap traffic, Stevens lap traffic. McNally up in third is doing a stellar job, but it's Janowski versus McLeod-Evans that we saw the last time they were at Silverstone. Janowski punts out of the way Craig McLeod-Evans, so you have to say a little bit of bad blood, you could say, between them, but you can see Janowski trying everything to get down the inside. No, not going to happen. The iron wall, definitely all-seeing, all-knowing, all not going to get through. Plants the car on the apex there very nicely, does the Create Scotland machine, and the Bulgaria car can't get himself through. Let's listen in on Julian Janowski's perspective. Down to the inside, then he goes, and you know what, they are going to have a little bit of contact there between the two. To the outside rumble strip he's going to have to go as McLeod-Evans using the runoff. That's going to allow Layla to get himself through here in the other Bulgaria car, down on the brakes through, and that's a little bit cheeky, you could say, and now trying to hold himself around the outside. He tries to go, and he's going to continue to hold it, and he does a fantastic job then to try and hold it, but doesn't hold it in the end. Layla is through in that one. McNally on the back of this train, but at the moment it's Khaled Patry versus Alex Everett up at the front of your field. But what does have to be remembered now, Alex Everett's dropped 2 positions on track position, but that doesn't mean he's dropped 2 positions at all. He's dropped to Glatzel and Hadfield has every right to unlap himself in this situation, you know. He is only 1 lap down. He has every right to try and make that overtake through, and that's going to be a bit perilous there for Khaled Patry. If he does get overtaken, he might have to work out and look behind him. You can see Stephen Baxter joined back into the series after an out season. He's there in 4th position, really showing what he can do right now. Janowski, Laidler, McLeod-Evans all there. Daniel Hunt side by side with Thorsten Matten, with Pete Newman waiting in the wings behind. This is the battle further down in the field. Newman to the inside of Matten, and he made that one look very simple. Now Matten is falling down through the field. You got likes of Max Wright there, Gordon Anderson, Peter Van Gool is there. Diogo Melro up into 14th from 32nd on the grid. Really showing what he can do right now as they head down in towards Brooklands corner. You can see a look to the inside. Matten a little bit more tentative on the brakes. That's going to allow the driver of Max Wright to take to the inside then at Luffield corner. And you know what? It's certainly not over yet. Trying to run that outside line is difficult at the best of times, but he's gone so very well here as Matten. But the outside again here for Copse Corner is going to be that big benefactor here around the circuit like this. I don't think he's going to have himself the best of chances to make that opportunity stick down to turn number 1 Copse Corner, and for the moment they're going to remain side by side, but I think there's just not enough speed carried there from Matten, and that's going to allow Gordon Anderson now into the fight. Remain side by side out of the toe. It's going to be so difficult to deal with, and there's a little bit of a slide then as they're going to contact and collide, and they're all going to run wide, including Van Gool, who sort of got caught up in someone else's accident, you could say. That's going to allow a few drives to come back in, the likes of Walsh, the likes of Melro, up through the field, then up into your top 10. To think we're not even halfway through this race, this is certainly showing itself to be something really good. Now you have to look at the front of your field, because Alex Everett is going to use Adam Hadfield as potentially his way in right now. Hadfield can hassle that race leader, of course, a lap down right now. He can certainly put Alex Everett in a very good position, and he has every right to fight for it, you know. He may be a lap down, but it certainly pays dividends in the end if you're going to fight for it right now. McNally and Baxter, the battle for the final spot on the podium. That one down under 0.3 of a second right now. And you look behind, Laidler has got through on Janowski, but McLeod-Evans has certainly not lost the back of this group. And now Dan Hunt's going to try and join in on the fight right now. Into the right hander they go. Pete Newman there, the king of starts from 25th up to 9th, is really showing what he can do also. This championship ever twitching, ever changing, ever turning here, as you can see just how everyone wants to have a piece of the action, a piece of the fight here in your BSR Kia World Series. Race 2 of the evening here at the circuit of Silverstone National right now, as we focus on this scrap for 5th place down to 9th on circuit. Well, you have to say Craig McLeod-Evans has to try and find a nose through on Julian Janowski, who is not looking himself here this afternoon, this evening, as they go into Copse Corner once again. Dan Hunt now starting to feel the effects of the Imperial Iron Wall. Once you attack, you have to defend, and it's a difficult one for the Create Scotland driver, who has to try and find a way through here, has to try and find a way through there. Every driver is running 1 or 2 laps down, but they are still keeping themselves in the fight here and in the fight there, which is going to be the crucial factor here moving on into this one, moving on further into this race. But for the time being, Janowski under threat, down to the inside goes the car of Craig McLeod-Evans, but he has to try and cut the nose off then. Does Julian Janowski, and does so effectively, can't get that move sorted just for the time being. That one's going to have to play that waiting game just a little bit more. Alex Everett, Welsh Dynamite, doesn't have enough. Hadfield now moving to the inside on Patry to try and unlap himself. Every right to do so. Down to the inside he goes, and that's going to slow everyone up. And here comes Welsh Dynamite. And you know what? You can see just how wide Caleb Patry's run. And I think the tactics work between the two Celtic Dragon cars right now. You can see Everett all over the back of Caleb Patry, and actually touches the man to get himself away through down the inside. A little bit naughty, but that's rubbing and racing, and that's what touring cars is all about technically. Here in these Kia Optimas, through to the inside goes Welsh Dynamite into the race lead. Caleb Patry nowhere to go, and now you can see it's role reversals, and now there's a rear gunner that doesn't have to lap if he feels that he is as quick. McNally on his own. Baxter's dropped though to the clutches of Russell Laidler there with Julian Janowski and McLeod-Evans and Dan Hunt and Pete Newman and Diogo Melro there. As you can see, Max Wright makes contact with Rusty Walsh and has to go straight on, and it looks very much like John Cleland and Steve Soper as they go and make contact, and Peter Van Gool now down the inside for the Euro team. So you can see already that seemed like a little bit of a revenge from Max Wright there. Didn't have to take that line, but he did in the end. Couldn't get himself slowed down on the brakes as we look at Stephen Baxter then with just 4 minutes to go in this race. We have lost our first driver though. That is Lyndon Swaby, who is out of this one. Of course, he had a clean race last time. And down the inside goes Baxter then on the car of Russell Laidler. They're going to remain side by side, but this is going to allow Janowski to potentially thread the needle 3 wide. No, not going to happen. McLeod-Evans waiting in the wings. Dan Hunt, experienced driver, waiting in the wings as well. As you look at the front of your field, that one is just a 2-by-2 battle there. Caleb Patry there with Adam Hadfield behind him, who's had to let this man through then. So it will be a straight dogfight for your race winners. You can see McLeod-Evans side by side with Dan Hunt as they go through Luffield Corner, runs wide, takes a bit of the gravel with him, but it's not going to be enough here to stop him here on this outside. He's still got the nose. They're just on the outside, but it's not going to favour him this next corner. I think this one is going to say down on the brakes into turn number 1 position. Dan Hunt is certainly the way it's going to look right now, but you can see just how everyone's track extends to try and run that little bit wider as we look at your race leaders once again. Caleb Patry gets a stonking run out of the corner. Opportunity knocks then on Welsh Dynamite. He's got nowhere to go. Has to force him tight here to this left-hand side of the circuit. Right-hand side as you see it then. Moves out wide then, and so does Caleb Patry to take that wide arcing line. Bit of contact there. Patry repays the favour, and off goes Alex Everett then. But he still has that inside line he can run down at Luffield, and he holds the position potentially for the moment. Has the inside for Copse, only has quarter panel just to say he's ahead at the moment. Corners favour him. This next little kink right's going to favour, and now they're going to go side by side then. Across the line it was very tight, only 0.03 of a second split them down into turn number 1, Copse Corner, and for the moment it's Alex Everett who's holding station at the moment. Second place at the moment is Caleb Patry right now. Third is Russell Laidler, who's through on the car of Adam McNally. Now has to deal with Janowski, who started 23rd. Laidler started 31st, and he's up to 3rd. Danny inside goes Janowski, and Janowski's going to take the position as well. McLeod-Evans runs a little bit wide, allows down Hunt to go through. You just can't keep up with the action as one man on his own. But side by side for your race lead, they're going to go Patry around the outside. Can he get the position sorted? No, he runs too deep, but he's going to try and hold it for next part of the corner. No, Everett's clear. Everett's got it for the moment, and now Caleb Patry starting to run a little bit out of patience and running a little bit out of time right now, you could say, as he tries to keep himself in this scrap for your race lead, but you can see how all these cars are going to run line of stern. You got Baxter in there trying to fight with Dan Hunt. He's going to force him all the way down to that inside of Woodcote corner right now. Newman under threat from McLeod Evans, and also Diogo Melrose sitting in the wings behind Pretty. As you can see, that's 3rd to 10th split by about a second right now. This is fantastic with just 2 laps to go in your motor race, and still we don't know who's going to be your race winner. We still don't know who's going to hold it for the podium, and you can see still Dan Hunt going side by side with the car of Pete Newman. You can still see Stephen Baxter trying to get through on Adam McNally for 5th position. You can see how the Bulgaria cars have broken away, but you can see side by side Patry trying to go around the outside, the American on Welsh Dynamite, and it's going to be one of those things. Yeah, will it be a Star-Spangled Banner, or will it be a God Save the Queen? That's going to be the big question now, as they head themselves onto the white flag, onto the final lap, side by side, as they head for turn number 1. Everett with the inside, and can he hold it? They've been there battling for the race lead. He's had Hadfields to help and might help a little bit more as he holds the race lead in through Copse. Now Maggots and Beckett. He's got to do it the defensive way down the Wellington straight. Down the brakes he goes, and you can see Patry squirming under those brakes, looking for an opportunity left or right. And at the moment, he's not close enough, but he will have the slipstream, and that's going to be careful. It was 6,000ths of a second when they last crossed the line, and Patry, the last time he got into a side-by-side, got himself a slowdown, has the inside line, goes on the brakes, down to the inside, and this one's going to end in contact. It is, and Patry has to take to the grass. Alex Everett, Welsh Dynamite, has held on to one. What a fantastic result that is. Welsh Dynamite wins race 2, and he wins it by an absolute fantastic margin. What a result for Welsh Dynamite. Patry across the line in 2nd, 3rd for Laidler, 4th for Janowski. Dan Hunt there in 5th in the end, beats McLeod, Evans and McNally. There's Walsh, there's Melrose, Wright, Van Gool, Baker, Anderson, Matter, Newman, Lewis, Bibby. Oh my word, there has been some incident then on the final lap of the race. To see what has happened there, we are going to take a replay on board with Pete Newman's perspective then. Somewhere along the lap, you can see, he just gets a small tap then in towards this final corner. And who's he got the tap by? The answer is it's from Max Wright, who's had a tap or 2 on a couple of drivers. And you can see Pete Newman drops 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions on that 1 tap alone. But classified results on your screen. This is how your field finished. So Alex Everett wins by half a second then over Caleb Patry in the 770 machine, with Russell Laidler coming from 31st all the way to 3rd. There you can see Julian Janowski in 4th, trying to kickstart his season as the current champion, with Dan Hunt 5th and Craig McLeod Evans, the Imperial Iron Wall, up into 6th. There you can see Adam McNally in 7th, a great result for him, with Rusty Walsh there inside the top 8. Diogo Mauro 9th from 32nd, with the top 10 rounded out by Max Wright. Peter Van Gool finishes 11th with Roy Vervaker there, the Belgian driver, in 12th. Gordon Anderson, the privateer, in 13th, with Thorsten Matten in 14th. There's Pete Newman, who's dropped a load of time to 15th, with Lewis Bibby 16th. 17th for Lorne Murray, with Nick Curry 18th. Nathan Osborne is 19th, with Duncan Watts rounding out the top 20 for Thistledoe. There is Thorstein Helgeson there in 21st. Joel Martinson, Adam Hadfield gets himself unlapped at the end of the race, with Sven Glatzel there in 24th as one of the first cars to lap down, with the likes of Baxter, McFadden, Delmont, Hall, Hickling, Dodd, Ryan Walker there, Kip Stevens 2 laps down. You can see further down, and the cars that failed to finish, Connery Maddock, Robert Plumley and Lyndon Swaby as well. But we are going to bring for you a driver in, hopefully, for interview, and we are going to try and bring in for you your race winner, and that is a man by the name of Mr. Alex Everett. Alex, a fantastic win for Welsh Dynamite. You did everything that you needed to do, and you know what? It was a difficult fight, but maybe are you a little bit fortunate you had your teammate around you?
Yeah, I'm so grateful Adam was there. Right place at the right time, but he was a huge help there. We've not been great working as a team in the past, but that was absolutely spot on, and I'd do the same for him. So credit where credit's due. Adam did fantastic for me there.
Yeah, certainly did. And well, for the entirety of the race, there was a massive incident in the midfield lap 1. You had to get yourself away, and you did. You got yourself clear of the field, so it was just you and Caleb fighting for the entirety of the 15 minutes. Caleb really did push you hard there, and in the end, it had to be one of those things. There was contact on the final lap, which meant you held on through Brooklands corner. Are you very fortunate in the fact that contact ended in the way it did?
Yeah, there was a lot of contact throughout that race that could have ended either of our races, to be honest. So we're both kind of fortunate that it didn't. So I guess we both get the slap on the wrist there.
Both get the slap on the wrist, but we're going to turn to Samuli behind the cameras. He's standing by with the wheel for the final time tonight. We're going to spin it. Let's see how the grid will line up for the final race of the night. It's another full reverse grid here, Alex. So at the end of that all, you find yourself now starting 31st on the grid. Ryan Walker will be on pole position. So that one for you, not the best, but we saw what Diogo Mara could do for 32nd, and we saw what Russell Lader did from 31st. He got onto the podium.
Yeah, they're very quick drives, to be fair to them. But Celtic driver on pole, that could be good. Never know, it could be a good team result for us.
Could be a very good team result, but for the time being, for the final time tonight, we are going to slide when we come back. The final round of the evening, round 3 of your BSR Kia World Series, will be here live and uninterrupted on iRacing Live. Don't go away.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
For the final time tonight, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your BSR MSA Kia World Series. We're streaming live on iRacing Live, and we're brought to you by Apex Racing TV. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Jake Sparey alone in the commentary box here. And there's a reason why I use the phrase MSA. This series officially recognised by the British Motorsports Association, run their rules, play their games, etc., etc. We all have a lot of fun, and it's all just fine and hunky-dory. And of course, there is a very important reason why these 38 drivers all try and drive their races around here. This is the only feeder series to go into the BSR Kia Pro Series, with one of the biggest, if not the biggest prize in all of privately run leagues. £10,000 goes to the winner of that one. And of course, if you win the Cesare Rizzo Cup here in your BSR Kia World Series, you get admitted entry for a prize worth around $250 to get yourself into this series for the last 7 weeks. Make sure you join today at the BSR Kia World Series Facebook page. £3 per entry per week, or £15 as a driver for a team per season, or £20 as an independent driver. Now, of course, we're going to put some codes up on your screen. Don't worry about that, because if you are brand new to iRacing, you can join today and get 3 months for the price of one with a promotional code PR-BSRTC, and also €30 off of any JCL sim racing products to be faster with the promotional code 5VATA1KA. Now, a big thing to talk about is this Cesare Rizzo Cup, and there is one man walking away with things at the moment, and that is Adam Walsh. It would have been different if Caleb Patry had finished that opening race of the night. He would have been right up there fighting with Rusty Walsh, the Thistle 2 driver, but the gap at the moment is 25 points in that standing at the moment, and you have to make sure that you get yourself really careful. If you look at the team standings right now, it's Bulgaria who have a slim 3-point lead as things stand heading into what is the final race of the night. And you look at the driver standings, it's Russell Laidler who holds on by 9 points over Melrose and Dan Hunt. But the biggest thing moving forward, though, will be that reverse grid. We saw in race 2 a massive incident at Copse Corner then. We saw cars flying left and right. Some people have compared it to a war zone. But, well, really, it's going to be one of these events where you have to make sure that you are on top form as much as you can. We're going to see that reverse grid of 31, not 32 this time, but it is going to be massive, to say the least. You have to make sure that you get yourself in. Now this final race is going to be do or die. There's no more reverse grids after this, and it will be all about this race and momentum moving forward to the Zandvoort Club circuit there in the Dutch dunes. But a home race for Peter Van Gool for the very first time we're ever going to go in this Kia World Series over to Zandvoort, which is going to be a nice change and a nice surprise, you could say. Quite a few fans will be turning up for that one here on iRacing Live, but there have been a few underwhelming performances. There have been some performances from quite a few drivers where everyone hasn't done the best that they could, but rest assured, it's going to be one of the spectacles. Are we going to see a BSR classic here in the final race of the night? That's going to be the big question that everyone needs to be asking right now. And the big question is, who is going to step up to the plate and make their name heard? That's the big one. Rusty Laidler is the biggest name at the moment, making his name, overtaking Janoski, you could say, as part of that Bulgaria team. Time is up, though. Let's get ourselves a final grid of the night, and let's get ourselves a 38-car grid in about 30 seconds. So it will be Ryan Walker on pole position with Adam Dodd second. Then you got Hickling and Hall, Del Monte and McFadden, Baxter and Glatzel with Hadfield and Martinson there, with Helgeson, Watt, Osborne and Curry, Murray and Bibby. You got Pete Newman and Matten, Anderson and Viveka, Van Gool and Wright. You can see Walsh and McNally there, McLeod, Evans and Hunt, Janoski and Laidler, Patry and Everett. And then you got Stevens, Greenfield, Christie, Minton, Maddock, Plumley and Swaby. That is 37 cars, not 38. So we clearly are missing one driver as 1 minute to grid up happens as we continue to go on then in this series. Race 3, do or die. It's all about that final result here as the Celtic Dragons car of Ryan Walker is on pole position right now. It's Celtic Dragons, Thistledew, and then you got Bulgaria, England, Youth Energy Sim Racing. So it's 6 different manufacturers inside the top 6 with that Stuart McFadden in 6th position. But engines now, notes are going to rise. All or nothing. Throw your dice and gamble. It's the final race of the night. And Walker's got a fantastic start, but from the second row, look out, because that is going to be the car of, I believe, Stephen Hall, trying to thread the needle down at turn number 1. Bit of contact then, and he's going to go straight on. And McFadden's got contact involved with that one as well. And across the track, he's going to collect one of the Iceland cars. And they're all going to fly off in 6s and 7s early on. Not the exact start that was needed, not the exact start that was wanted. But you can see here as they head into turn number 2, more contact then, left and right. 3 cars off on the right-hand side. Car spearing off into the air. Dan Hunt looks to be involved. McLeod Evans looks to be involved. And at the moment, Yuji Janowski's got himself safe. Has Rusty Laidler got himself safe? Not too sure about that. But at the front, though, you have to say it has all kicked off. And your leader in the field is Adam Dodd, followed by Stuart McFadden. Well, you can see now Dodd running wide. Here comes McFadden in that number 24. The youngster is looking to make a statement in his first ever week in this BSR series. Side by side, they're going to go. This'll-do versus Create Scotland. Two Scottish teams down towards turn 1. You can see the smoking engine in the pits at Cops Corner, but you can see McFadden into the race lead then. Hadfield then in third position for the Celtic Dragons, making sure that he makes moves forward. Adam Delmont for the Youth Energy Sim Racing UK team in fourth position, really making inroads. Baxter in fifth. Pete Newman, the king of starts, at it again in 6th, runs wide though, allows Sven Glatzel to come back through in the 1-2-4, and he has a turner pace. He's the fastest man in practice with a 56.9 here in late afternoon conditions right now. Janowski side by side with Rusty Walsh, these two, hammer and tongs, some of the quickest drivers in the field, starting 23rd and 27th respectively. Side by side, they're going to go down in onto the brakes. Alex Everett, Welsh Dynamite, waiting in the wings behind them as well. And of course, Janowski and Everett have that rivalry to deal with as well. Walsh trying to run it around the outside, the leader of the Cesare Rizzo Cup at the moment, and has to wait in line for the moment. Car into pit lane though is going to be Pete Newman, and that's going to be for a drive-through penalty for what should be jumping the start then. So the king of starts, too good on his start then, has to come in and serve that penalty just to boot at the moment. So this is how your field looks though, as we see that's a car going slow. That was Lewis Bibby in the end trying to get out of the way. You can see a car going straight on though, and I'm not quite sure who that is. That's Adam Dodd, and he's kind of got lost, ladies and gentlemen. He's down at Ireland here, and that's a big get lost from Adam Dodd. And you talk about Kimi Räikkönen down at Brazil about 4 years ago. I think he's just made a complete different mess of that one. And actually now he's heading himself down the wrong way. Adam Dodd is lost, ladies and gentlemen. He has gone completely the wrong way, and it's something that you don't normally see every day, but we're going to keep on focusing on this action. That one for the highlight reel, certainly you'd think so. Dan Hunt then is out of the way. He's only on his second lap, which means that he is now lap traffic. He will drop valuable points then in the title challenge that he will have at the moment, but you can see cars slow here, slow there. Stuart McFadden under threat from Adam Hadfield, moves to the right-hand side of the circuit. Pete Newman is out, ladies and gentlemen, but now you can see on the brakes, Hadfield looking to push into turn number 3 of Beckett's corner. Gets a lovely cutback on the young Scotsman, the man from Sheffield, looking to try and get himself through. Del Monte's waiting in the background, so is Baxter, and so is Sven Glatzel, looking for that opportunity to go through. Dodd is out of the race after his wild excursions and his visits as well. You talk about Wells Waldo, where's Dodd? Dodd's out, but now you look at Hadfield just still waiting for a way around McFadden here in these final 15 minutes of the night, and already here on lap 4, McFadden leads emphatically at the moment, with Adam Delmont in third, Hadfield in second, Baxter in fourth, as we got a train of 5 in this battle going on for what is this race. Well, you have to give fair credit to a couple of drivers, Nathan Osborne and also the driver of Duncan Watt. Watt with a bright idea. He's there in 6th position. He's up 6 at the moment. And you got Nathan Osborne also up 6 right now here in this scrap. As we're going to look further back down through your field to try and find ourselves some scraps. Kip Stevens then with Rusty Laidler behind, trying to make some inroads through the field, and where you can see down on the brakes into the right-hander, Laidler nowhere to go. Probably the midfield's going to be the best place for him. As you can see, 2 Euro cars up ahead. That's Joel Martinson and Peter Van Gool looking to go side by side. The Swede and the Dutchman then, as they head themselves into Brooklands corner. Down on the brakes, round the outside goes Peter Van Gool, and you know what, I think he's going to make this one look very much sorted. 2 stabs at the wheel then to get him through the corner does Martinson, and he holds on to 1 position for the moment, but runs wide and is going to allow Kip Stevens an opportunity to go down the inside, and I think he might just take it. Well, we are certainly seeing some fantastic racing up at the front of this field as well. Train of 5, we certainly say that one. Baxter there, Delmont there, Hadfield there, McFadden there. So you have to say 4 UK teams lining up inside the top 4. Down on the brakes then, into the right-hander they come along of Beckett's corner. Came through Maggots just then as well. And now you can see McFadden here at the front of this train. He's going to have to play that defensive line. And you know what? He's got every right to do it. Moves across then to the right-hand side to the outside. Goes Adam Hadfield as they head to Brooklands corner. One of the prime overtaking spaces down his Wellington straight, tries to run that outside line, keeps it going, and McFadden's going to hold him close every step of the way, and now trying to go around the outside, and he holds on to it, McFadden, and Adam Hadfield just wasn't convicted enough to get on the brakes. McFadden did so well on that inside line, and that is just testament to the training he has as a Scottish grassroots champion. And where you have to say, Delmont waiting, Baxter waiting, Glatzel waiting, the German man in that 1-2-4 machine, of course Deutschland car, but the car won't score points until they find a third member. Maybe they can ask one of the privateers, not too sure, but now you start looking here at desperation, 1/3 distance, and you know, you can wait behind all you like and see no opportunity, no moves happening, but you got to make sure that you get past. And at the moment, Stuart McFadden doing everything he needs to do. Hadfield now moving hard to the right-hand side, left-hand side even, now moves to the right, left as you see it on screen. Head yourself down to Brooklyn's corner, side by side they're going to go. And again, McFadden trying to hold that inside line, just carries so much speed through the mid part of the corner. Can't cut the line off now, and they're going to run side by side through Luffield, always favouring Adam Hadfield right now. Nothing that Stuart McFadden can do. He's pushed off the circuit though, ever so slightly. Keeps it going, but Hadfield now will resume position of the race lead for the Celtic Dragons. One race win already. Kip Stevens is out of this race. He has received technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. That one not exactly what he'd want at all, but now here comes Delmont and the blue touch paper well and truly lit down in towards turn number 2. Can Delmont get the position? Answer at the moment is going to be yes. He's got the inside line, but it's not going to be definitive then, as they're going to go side by side. They're going to touch even, and you can see pushing himself wide. Now Baxter's going to have himself a bit of a way through. Now there's going to be a lot of pushing here and there and looking everywhere for that big moment, that big opportunity to go through. And it's contact, and McFadden's going to go straight on, but he holds the car somehow. Going to have to take an excursion to the gravel. It's caused pandemonium, 4 wide, then down into next right-hander, and McFadden has lost a few positions, bullied out of position, Dan Hunt through, but of course a lap down. Sven Glatzel now up into the final spot on the podium. Well, you have to say this is fantastic, battling up at the front. Adam Hadfield leads Adam Delmont, the counter. Del Monte Cristo then in second position, looking for a way through on arguably someone who had a breakout year last season with at least 2 wins to his name. Sven Glatzel trying to make a way through, and you can see a little bit tentative on the brakes there. As you can see, the England cars are going to come into each other. Baxter there, Bibby there, and you can see threading the needle through all of that is that car of Rusty Walsh, leader of the Cesare Rizzo Championship right now, and looking pretty much certain to keep his fight alive. Baxter then in a fantastic position in 5th, but now Welsh Dynamite to the inside, and Welsh Dynamite of Alex Everett gets himself a way through. Now Janowski looks for a way through, and now the blue touch paper as everyone goes through. Janowski takes a tap though from the car of what is Stephen Baxter, keeps themselves going though, but it's going to be a floodgate of overtakes. Patry is through, Osborne is through as well, and you can see no room to breathe in this one. Russell Laidler there is in this small pack as well, and this is fantastic to see here at just over half distance in this race. Car into the wall, and that one is Stephen no, it's Max Wright even, and Wright, who was a lap down, has his race over and done with. And how Janowski's still going, I have no idea, ladies and gentlemen. He took a hit to the bumper hard, and now you can see down the brakes Patry on Osborne trying to get himself down to the inside. I think Osborne can do it. I think there's a little bit of contact between the two, but I think Osborne holds on for the time being. And now here comes Rusty Laidler. Wow. Calm yourselves down, ladies and gentlemen. This one is certainly heating up in the heat of the moment right now. Battle for your second place. Now Glatzel looks to try and scrap with Delmont here in this scrap for second. All this time though, allowing Adam Hadfield to start to break away, and that's just what he needs to do. Just what he needs to find here. And it's going to be interesting here as you find yourself in this fantastic fight. Delmont's got the position then. Glatzel's going to have to wait behind, but you can see runs a little bit wide on exit, going to compromise the run, and Glatzel to the outside will turn to the inside here in this scrap for the final spot on the podium. Not going to happen. Down on the brakes, but runs a little bit too deep then does Del Monte Cristo, and it's going to be Glatzel who's got himself down through on the inside, moves hard to the left hand side. You can see over the white line to try and get through. That's not going to happen. That's going to be seen as gaining advantage, but still this scrap for second continues on. Inside line looks Delmont, and it wasn't covered by Glatzel, who's going to have to hold it a long way around. Inside line for the next corner. Of course, the only left-hander in the series of Wright. And now you can see a fantastic overtake from Adam Del Monte. He has got himself in second. Well, actually, he's been overtaken even. Fantastic work from Sven Glatzel. The German has got himself into second position. Adam Hadfield, though, has a massive margin to play with, does the Celtic Dragon man. He is absolutely flying here in this race, and he is doing everything that he needs to do. Well, you can see Del Monte still pushing hard, still looking for that one opportunity to get himself through. Can't happen at the moment, has to wait behind. So further back through the field, you can see Rusty Walsh all over the back of young Stuart McFadden. And Stuart McFadden Jr. is going to need to find himself a way to work himself. Now has Welsh Dynamite waiting in the wings as well. That is Alex Everett, who started 30th and is now looking to try and get inside the top 5 right now from the back of the grid. You can see Walsh and McFadden there running line astern as they head themselves into Luffield Corner right now. This long 180-degree right-hander where you're just waiting to put the power. And in the words of Jackie Stewart, you can't put yourself onto the power unless you have full commitment that you can get full power down. So waiting is the game as time is ticking. 3 minutes to go. Laidler and Patry. That one's a big one in terms of championship. Laidler trying to put himself through. He's now up into the top 10. 9th position on the road at the moment. Robert Plumley up from 36th to 12th. Doing a fantastic job as he streams his races live on Twitch right now. And you can see this battle for 4th position still going on forward. The likes of Rusty Walsh and Stuart McFadden going on. The battle for 3rd. Adam Del Monte and Sven Glatzel battle for 2nd even, as I correct myself. Down into Brooklands Corner. Not going to be close enough for the count of Del Monte Cristo. But McFadden holding on for the moment. Create Scotland versus This'll Do right now, and This'll Do nicely for Rusty Walsh if he can keep himself going right now. And you can see McFadden into the pits. Maybe he's underfueled the car, and oh, that's a big one. That's a one that you didn't normally seem to expect. I think he's underfueled it, and that's a big mistake from a young man to not put enough in the car. Now Alex Everett moves into the top 5. Welsh Dynamite proving his worth in race 3 of the evening, but now we look at Caleb Patry still fighting Julian Janowski then in 6th position. Right now, 6th, 7th and 8th is Janowski, Caleb Patry and Russell Laidler. Down on the brakes they go with just 3 laps to go of your motor race. Still looking for that big opportunity. No, not going to happen. It all calms down, all waits. Patry in the slipstream, looking at Janowski, looks to the outside. Nothing else that he can do. Tries to run that outside line, and can he get himself around the outside to get himself down in that line? And he's going to try it around the outside. He's going to open the door to Laidler, which is going to be the big moment. Can't get it sorted through that first part, and it's going to be a little bit of rubbing and racing then in towards Luffield Corner, but holds the position nicely for the time being. Alex Everett losing touch with Rusty Walsh. Walsh trying to catch up to Adam Del Monte, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's one guy who is going to be out and away when all is said and all is going to be done, and I think that one is going to be Adam Hadfield here with 2 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. And what a drive it's turned into be, and that's going to be the car of Stuart McFadden, who goes straight on after just coming out of the pit. Very lucky to get himself sorted, and there you can see just how tight it was, ladies and gentlemen. Inches, you could say, from Sven Glatzel and from Adam Del Monte. Could have affected the podium in one way, almost affected it in another. White flag coming out this time by. Final opportunities on the line, and into Luffield Corner comes Sven Glatzel and Adam Del Monte. And there's Walsh waiting and Everett waiting. And Janowski side by side with Laidler, the 2 teammates from Bulgaria, the team Bulgaria as I should say, and Caleb Patry waiting patiently. That one will also need to keep an eye on here on this final lap of your motor race as they head towards turn number 1. Cops Corner, Patry waiting in the wings, can affect things, looking for that Ches Rizzo cut, boys, and gets a huge wiggle into turn number 1, holds the car nicely, but still we look further ahead. Battle for your podium though. Sven Glatzel waiting for the opportunity here just to present itself. He is ahead by about 0.3 of a second. I don't think it's going to change much though, as it is going to be one of these things. Nick Curry is out on the final lap with technical issues, but it's going to be Adam Hadfield who has 1 more corner to go, and a very well respected driver and a very well loved driver with a very, very good result and a win, a well deserved one from the man from Sheffield. He wins a 2nd race win for the Celtic Dragons. Glatzel will take second for Deutschland. Third will go Adam Delmont for the Energy Youth Sim Racing UK team. Fourth for Rusty Walsh. Fifth for Alex Everett. A fantastic race. And Russell Laidler takes the position from Janowski in the end as they go over the line. Bitter contact though. Bitter controversy there. Well, what a fantastic race we have just seen. We have seen everything in this final race. Roy Baveka there in 21st coming towards the line. Not the result that he would have wanted. And you can see the last few cars coming through. This is how your final results will look on the final race of the night. This is how everything finished. Adam Hadfield then wins the race by 1.6 seconds over Sven Glatzel in second, with Adam Delmont rounding out the final spot on the podium. And there you can see Rusty Walsh there in fourth with Alex Everett, Welsh Dynamite in fifth, Russell Laidler there in sixth, Rusty in sixth, with Julian Janowski, the Season 2 champion, there in seventh. Caleb Patry will come home in eighth with Nathan Osborne ninth. Duncan Watt rounds out the top 10, with Robert Plumley going from 36th to 11th in the end of that one. Peter Van Gaal there in 12th, 13th for Baxter, and there you can see further down the likes of Connery Maddock, Adam McNally there, Dave Christie getting himself up into the top 20 for the first time. Very good result for him. And there you can see cars that were a lap down or failed to finish, the likes of Stuart McFadden, who was up there, Ryan Walker, the pole sitter, likes of Stephen Minton, the likes of Kip Stevens, the likes of Adam Dodd, the king of starts and the Season 1 champion Pete Newman, and Stephen Hall as well. Well, we are going to get for you one quick interview before the end of the evening is done. We are going to try and drag you in Mr. Adam Delmont, and he certainly had a fantastic result here this evening. Adam, a fantastic result for you. You managed to get yourself up into what is third position at the end of all of that. You were fighting hard with Sven Glatzel for quite a lot of the race, and it just seemed that he got the better of you today.
Yes, he did, yeah. I tried to give it everything I had, and I just settled in to follow him and try and snatch it towards the end, but no, he had the measure of me, and I just couldn't quite get it.
Now, there was a very scary moment towards the end of that race when Stuart McFadden came out of the pits. Of course, he is a young driver who is looking to try and get himself the best possibility way forward. Do you see him as maybe a Max Verstappen of this series at all?
Possibly, from what we saw. I mean, to be fair, he scared me half to death when he came across and nearly wiped both of us out, but that little thing in me did think, oh, is he going to hit second and give me second? But he didn't, but it was close. But we'll see. Time will tell.
Time will tell indeed, but a fantastic result for you to kickstart your season. Everything that you need. Is anyone you'd like to thank for your third place finish?
Yeah, obviously my teammates for all the practice that we've put in, and also Youth Energy, our sponsors, and the guys who put this together, because it's fantastic. It's great. First race of the season. Brilliant.
First race of the season, but for that, it is all we have time for. Make sure you check out the Kia Pro Series on Thursday nights and on Sundays. The Club Series gets itself still going, and that one will certainly be interesting moving on forward. But for the time being, I've been Jake Sparey, that's been your drivers, that's been Silverstone National, and next week, it's going to be Zandvoort Club for the first time. And if anything that's to go by, there are certainly quite a few people who want to put their name stamped with authority. Good night.
Good night.